What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist here with
Gersh1.
And once again, we're back at it drinking ice mountain water because why not?
Why not? It's probably the best water.
Yeah, I'm surprised Nestle has water. Because isn't Nestle like candy?
No, I think like at this point they're kind of like Kellogg's. They got their hands in everything.
That's right.
All the baskets.
And with that being said, guys, welcome to For the Greater.
This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you have a question for us, put question in front of your question because we get to those questions first. Also, there is a thing called Super Thanks. It's a way for you guys to support us. You can find it right next to the like button, I think it is, here on YouTube. So we answer Super Thanks right off the bat. So if you want your question guaranteed answer, send us a Super Thanks. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, and that is what Ryan Wood has done. Well, Ryan Wood has the actual question, but we want to give a quick shout out to, there's two more. You know what, let's just start with Ryan Wood then. Ryan Wood asks, I read the novels and play all the video games, but I've been told I am not a real fan because I don't paint minis. Do you think this culture changing with all new video games coming out? So basically gatekeeping, right?
Yeah, you have a lot of elitists in a lot of hobbies that saying, this is what I've done, this is what my play group has done, therefore that is the way things should be done. Yeah. And with Warhammer 40K, it is a hobby that encompasses a whole bunch of different aspects of being a hobbyist. Yeah. You have the actual tabletop, the video games, the novels, you even have Monopoly game pieces and boards. It stems everywhere you can think of. Apps, like, there's a lot of avenues that you can explore, and obviously you can go to, like, you can literally run the bank dry by doing any and everything 40K related.
For sure, yeah.
So with that being said, if you are, let's say, spending thousands of dollars on the tabletop, you might feel like, you have to pay to get into this hobby. And that's not the case, because obviously you could have kids that are just diving into the lore, and obviously they don't have money to buy these armies and paints and whatnot. Or maybe you just don't have the patience to paint. So therefore, you read. Therefore, you play the video games. Like, that's the cool thing about this hobby, is that you can go into these many different facets of 40K and still enjoy it and be, a part of the community.
Yeah, and coming from somebody who was like big time gatekeeping, because that's how I felt when I would have friends who say like, oh yeah, read the novels, and they would find out, we create lore videos and stuff like that. In my head, it was like, yeah, but you don't play the tabletop, so you're not a real, like, you don't know the blood, sweat, and tears, kind of what you said. Mm-hmm. But the reality is that, again, like what you said, no, there's just different ways you can go about enjoying the hobby. And if you are a hardcore hobbyist where you play the video games, you play the tabletop, and you see somebody come up to you and say like, oh yeah, I played the Monopoly game, mm-hmm. That's your entryway into getting them introduced into whatever, source you play. So if you played Dawn of War, maybe bring that person into like the Dawn of War game. If you play the tabletop and that person mentions something about Warhammer, it's your opportunity to bring them into the tabletop.
Yeah.
So yeah, just view it as that.
Definitely, especially when starting, that is definitely something to keep in mind, because you don't just want to say, hey, let's jump into Warhammer and then be dropped with, well, you got to spend $500 because you got to buy this army, buy the codex, buy the rulebook, buy the paints, assemble the models, get a board, and then play. Yeah. You could just say, well, let's play this video game.
And it is hard, though. It is hard, and I understand why people like gatekeep, because it's a game that like requires time, mm-hmm. And that's probably the most valuable thing.
Yes. Because you could say, I've read all 56 novels of the Horus Heresy, and then you'll be like, that is a true fan. But then on the flip side, you could be like, well, I've been playing Warhammer 40K since Rogue Trader. That's a true fan. And it's like, well, they both are.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You just don't. It's not necessarily you having metal models. It's just you enjoying the universe.
Yeah. Just because you played with Abaddon the Armless back in the day doesn't make you superior with somebody who has a brand spanking new Abaddon model.
Right. Thank you for the super thanks. Zero Cool AOW also gave us a super thanks. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. You ask, boobs or ass? So for the longest time, I was for sure an ass man. That was just me.
But that was just me. That was his personality. That's who I am.
Yeah, every single day. I would wake up and go to sleep thinking about ass. But now I think that's just changing. Now it's a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I was the opposite of that. I was like, booty, no way, poop comes out of that, yuck. And as you grow older and mature and see the wonderfulness of life, you get to broaden your horizons and improve.
Yeah. So now, would you say you're more of an ass or a boob man? Are you a little bit of both?
I'll give it a 60-40.
Oh, yeah. Still favoring.
I'll still go with boobs over butt. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. You get sustenance and nurture as a child there.
As a child, yeah. But.
Ass.
Exactly. Yeah, but that's a good one.
Thank you, Slanesh, for that question.
Yes.
Using your conduit of zero cool as the person to ask us that.
Mm-hmm. Next question comes from James Russell. He also gave us a super thanks. Well, actually, he just gave us a super thanks. He says, thanks.
Yeah, thank you for supporting us. Much appreciated.
Yeah. Let's get into the rest of them.
Daytona Daviel. What other physical weapons, such as the sword, the spear, the battle axe, and the hammer, can permanently kill a demon other than the sword of the Emperor? So basically, in order to kill a demon, you have to eradicate it completely from existence. Because when you kill a demon, normally they just get reeling back into the warp. For the most part, the only one that is 100% confirmed is indeed the Sword of the Emperor, because the sword acts as a conduit for the Emperor's power, and we know that the Emperor can eradicate demons 100%. He did that with a whole bunch of demons. He did that with Horus, not just eradicating chaos, but also disintegrating his soul so that it would not exist in the warp to be used as a plaything from the Chaos Gods.
Yep.
Unfortunately, that is not an end-all be-all, because Dracnian could not be killed. Supposedly, Dracnian, the shape-shifting demon, maybe the original demon, is the sword that Abaddon, the Despoiler, currently uses, could not be killed by the Emperor. Why? How? Hasn't been explained yet. But we do know that there are beings, there are things in this 40K universe, or I guess Warhammer universe, that are beyond what we believe to be absolutes.
Right, yeah. Crone swords, stuff like that, right?
Yeah, crone swords can do that sometimes not. I guess it depends on who's using it. Any type of psychic weapon, I won't say it'll obliterate demons, but it's a lot easier to kill demons.
Yep.
Whereas since demons technically have no physical form, even when they enter real space, because depending on who you are, you see and interpret demons differently. When normal people see demons, they probably see them as like, abominations, monsters, that kind of thing. When blanks see demons, depending on the power of that blank, they may just see them as mere like gray smudges, almost like a portion of reality is missing in that space. Mm-hmm. Or they might just see it as what it truly is, like some disgusting horror. So it does depend, and obviously if you go to stab something that's not there, how are you actually stabbing it?
Yeah.
So that's why you definitely need a little bit of a psychic weaponry to kill demons, which is why the Grey Knights excel so much at that, as well as Blanks, Sisters of Silence, and Assassins.
Yeah, and then also Blackstone, or
Yes.
What is it called?
Noctilith.
Just like it did with the pylons, there's ways that the Necrons have been able to use it to completely obliterate warp stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Not even necessarily demons, but just warp stuff.
Exactly. Necrons have been doing it for a while, shutting off like warp tears in reality and whatnot with Noctilith.
Yeah.
The pylons.
They used to be ass, and now they're planks.
Mm-hmm.
Next question.
This one's by Timothy Armstrong. What would happen to the Emperor if the techno-barbarians united before he was able to do anything? I still think he would have been able to take them down.
Well, yeah, he killed entire planets that were twice the size of Terra, because at the end of the day, he created Space Marines. So
Yeah.
the Space Marines would eventually unify Terra.
Yeah, I think if anything, the Unification Wars would have lasted a little bit longer. The Thunder Warriors would have been used as more of a time buyer for the Space Marines to be fully unveiled and used.
Or their primarks.
Yeah, that too. Because honestly, I mean, the First Legion, the Dark Angels, did mess up a lot of the final warlords left on Terra. So,
Yeah.
And that's just one Legion. Imagine if they all got brought in.
I know. It would have been devastating.
Mm-hmm.
Next question comes from Magos Dominus. Why did you ignore the sign of the lost primarks?
Because it was obliterated. That never existed. What are you talking about, man?
Oh yeah, because it was what is it called?
The Edict of Obliteration.
Yep.
They were sanctioned and removed from history.
So we will not talk about them anymore.
Yeah, because we don't talk about Bruno. No. But yeah, there is a ton of little mysteries, little clues about the Lost Primarchs that I will touch on in a video, probably next week or this week, depending on when it comes out. I have talked about them before, so just check out Lost Primarchs, it'll come up. But yeah, they're even though they're supposed to be lost and forgotten, there is a lot of clues that kind of point towards what happened and if they're still alive or not, so check it out.
Which is scary too, just because I think we were talking about this last week, where I think GW is doing more of like filling in the blanks, and when you do that, you take the agency away from the player, especially the homebrew player.
Yes.
So if you create your own Primarch, but now the Primarch is a very specific thing, then it kind of like kills your thing.
Right, which we've seen this with the introduction of new Horus Heresy novels, because we have the old lore and then we have these new novels which kind of build off of that old lore and add new things, such as the Emperor was the one that created the Primarchs. Well, not necessarily. He had Erda helping him. And it's like, well, the Emperor did create the Space Marines. Not necessarily. He had Amar Astardi that actually is the creator of these Space Marines.
So it sucks.
Yeah, I mean, it does kind of humanize the Emperor in a way, because at first we thought he was like the end-all, be-all, the first man, nobody can trump him, but he had help.
Yeah, and I think for all those people that are like, damn, like that, they are taking away from the homebrewy aspect of it. But then at the same time, I think we have spoken about how it's not so much that they're changing the lore, but just that new information is being revealed. Whereas before, the Emperor was seen as like a true god, but like the more people dive into it, he's not.
Yeah, it's like people want more lore, but at what cost?
Yes.
Because honestly, the more mysteries are there, the more your mind wanders and like fills in the blanks. And then sometimes the blanks that GW officially fills aren't as epic as you thought they were.
Yeah, they never will be.
Yeah.
But yeah. And those were the questions for today. If you guys have more questions for us, please comment down below. If you guys have a question that we didn't get to in this video, ask again. Again, thank you guys for all the people that sent super thanks. If you guys want your question answered for next week and you want a guaranteed answer, just send us a super thanks. We really appreciate it. It's helping out the channel.
Yes, thank you very much. And as always, I've been the Sound Alchemist.
Gersh1.
And we are out of here.